Okay, here we are in week 6, and it's May 11th through the 15th. Do you know there are only 8 weeks this quarter? So we're on week 6, we're almost done. This is a really fun week, and it will make you think, at least that is the intention, because we're going to read some literature of the modern world, some modernist literature, and look for themes that unite this literature that may seem on the surface to be very different from one another. We're going to read a couple of poems and a short story, and then also bring in some of the literature that you've already read, including Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own that you read a couple weeks ago, and also the poetry of World War I. And we're going to kind of look at how all of these pieces of literature do have unifying themes, and you're going to get a chance to think about that and write about it. So at the beginning of the week, you're going to watch this literature of the modern world. Just be aware that some of these resources are actually longer than what you've been used to. Maybe this one's like 20 minutes and this one might be 10 minutes. So plan your time and take notes, and don't skip these resources, because if you do, you'll have to go right back to them anyway, because you're going to need to bring them in. You'll be quizzed on them, and then you'll need to write about them after you read your literature. So don't skip the resources. We're going to watch this literature of the modern world, also this overview of literary modernism. Then you're going to read a poem by Yeats called The Second Coming. It's a short poem, but there's a lot in it. So read the poem, and there's also some explanation, some commentary at the bottom of that resource that will be really helpful to you, talking about how this poem that seems to be a religious theme actually has a lot to do with World War I and some of the feelings that are going on in society because of that terrible war. The next thing, you will watch this discussion of The Second Coming. This is where I kind of break it apart and explain the poem to you, because we haven't done a lot with poetry yet this year. We've more been focusing on longer works. So this will give you an example of how to really break down a poem, and it will help you on your quiz later on. Then I want you to watch this introduction to James Joyce. One of these resources, this one talks about James Joyce a little bit. This one will give you more background into James Joyce. And then you're going to read one of his short stories. James Joyce has written long, long novels, but this is just one of his short stories that we're going to read this week called Araby. And then you're going to complete this assignment called Imagination versus Reality in Araby. So some of the things that he's going through in this short story are actually happening, and a lot of it is going on in his head, in his imagination. So you're going to have a chance to kind of break that up and figure out what's really going on and what he's imagining. The next, you're going to read The Hollow Men by T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot, again, a famous modernist poet. This poem also has a lot to do with the feelings after World War I. There's an intro here that I want you to watch. Then you're going to read the poem. You're going to watch and listen to The Hollow Men. This resource has a reader, and it will really get you to help you understand the feelings and the emotions by listening to someone else read it to you. And then there's a group assignment where the whole poem is in this Google Doc, broken up, and you're going to be just adding, should we look at it? Maybe that will help. You'll be adding your commentary to different parts of the poem. So, I'm actually not sure if Screencastify is recording this. But if not, I'll explain it. This resource has all of the text of the poem, and you're going to choose part of it to explain on a group document. So you'll choose one section or one line or one section of the poem, and you're going to give us an explanation. So by the end, we have the whole poem and all of your commentary so that you can really understand it. If you have questions about that, let me know, because I don't think I recorded it. I don't think Screencastify is recording this. Okay, next we will take a quiz on the literature of the modern world. And then for the general group, you will be completing this discussion on literary modernism, where you'll be writing about common themes in the literature that we've read. And also you can bring in Virginia Woolf and the poetry that we read last week about World War I. And that is week 6. Let me know if you have any questions.